if you had to pick one batsman to bat for your life?
Alastair Cook.
Hello and welcome to the 17th episode of All Things Cricket by the 12th man. Today we have with us a very, very special guest. He's a cricketing veteran who has represented England on 77 occasions, including 50 test matches, which is an achievement in itself. The left-arm spinner has 193 international wickets to his name, the first of which was Sachin Tendulkar. He was named the Wisden Cricketer of the Year in 2007. And we have with us none other than the English spinner Monty Panesar with us. It is so good to have you on the show, Monty.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
So tell us a bit about what you're doing in this quarantine period and what has changed for you.
Yeah, we're just trying to a lot of my meetings are on Zoom, and also the cricket season's finished. Yesterday was a brilliant game between England and Australia, and it was actually what we needed, during the last 3 months. I thought, the ECB and Sky Sports, which is our main broadcaster here, did a fantastic job, and now we're all just excited to watch the IPL, which starts on Saturday. And normally everyone has their time free after 3 p.m. Because of the IPL. And everyone in the UK cannot wait to watch the IPL. We are so excited. We just want to see Virat Kohli hit them big sixes, score a quick 50 off the power play period. I don't know. We are expecting big things from Virat Kohli because everyone is just in the UK cannot wait to watch the IPL.
That's a really good thing to notice, and I would say the English summer is being perfectly extended by the IPL because you just have a 2-day break and there is amazing competitive cricket coming up yet again.
Well, you're talking about the heat. Well, there's a heat wave here, and we're end of September, well, mid-September, and it's normally not like this. So perfect timing, beautiful heat wave. People will probably go to the pubs or the beer gardens, sit there with their pint glasses and just watch the IPL. We couldn't ask for a more perfect time.
Definitely. So Monty, will do this in 3 segments. First, we'll talk about your journey as a cricketer and some of the things that you faced in your career. Moving forward, we'll talk a bit about international cricket and some questions that people have sent in for you. And finally, we'll do a quick rapid fire segment.
Perfect.
So I'll move to my first question from my first segment. It is about you. So I want you to tell us about your journey initially, what inspired you to take up cricket professionally, and finally decide that you will play for the English team.
Well, I think for me, it was, I was very lucky. I was very lucky to have a cricket club in Luton, and it was called Luton Town and Indians. Then I had Dunstable Town as well, which was another cricket club, close by.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, where do I get my child started? Do I go to private schools where there's cricket, or do I, be part of a cricket club as well? Because I think it doesn't matter which school you're from, a state or private school. I think you need a good cricket club that promotes cricket and loves cricket, and Luton Indians did that. They loved their cricket, and it was perfect for me.
Right, and after the entire journey that you had, you finally made your debut in India, and your first international wicket, like I already mentioned, was the man who people dream of taking the wicket off in their entire international career. It was Sachin Tendulkar himself. So what was that feeling? First, the feeling of making a debut and having your first wicket as Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah, it's just dream come true. It's the greatness of the man. That's a reflection in the celebrations. Really, he's such a great cricketer that you don't expect that to be your first Test wicket, and when it is, it's a great feeling. I loved every minute of it.
Right, and I'll take you to another time that you had Sachin Tendulkar. It was in 2012, and Cricinfo has recently rated it as in the top 20 balls of the century. So about that wicket, that tour specifically. So there was a lot of talk about the hard work that you've put in. So something about that tour, how it changed you as a professional cricketer.
Yeah, I think it's the conditions sometimes that you're playing with, and also you learn, as you play international cricket. There is. I remember Duncan Fletcher said to me, he goes, "There isn't a lot of difference between first class and international cricket. It's only difference with one ball."
Yeah.
But that one ball, you hit 4 balls out of 6. In international, it's 5 out of 6. But that one ball is like, it's equivalent of like 12-15%. So, I reckon there's about 20% difference, first class cricket and international cricket, if you ask my opinion. Technically got to be very good, and also tactically and take on the challenges that are presented to you. Some people, when they're in playing in front of TV, fans don't play their best cricket, while others do as well. So
yeah,
that you only know if a person is good for international cricket if they played international cricket.
Right. And one more thing that I will take forward when we talk about your work ethic, it is something that has been highly rated throughout your career. And time and again, what my question to you is, what has kept you motivated to stick to that work ethic despite the ups and downs that you have faced in your career?
Yeah, I think it comes from my parents. My dad, my mum, they still work very hard, and it's something that they enjoy, and it's something that they're great believers of hard work.
Yeah.
Is important, but also it stops you from making excuses. You don't have time to sulk, or you just get on, work hard, get fitter. Okay, you haven't performed well, but what's your fitness like? Or you haven't performed well, what's your fielding like? Or what's your batting like? So you just go on and you keep training. You just focus on things to improve, and that's a great mindset to have, because it stops you from being a little child and throwing your toys out of the pram and moaning all the time. It's just the mindset of right, okay, let's focus on the next weakness then.
Yeah, that's a very good attitude to have. And talking about that, I think you are one of the sports persons who've been very open and who's spoken out well about the importance of mental health in the life of an athlete. And recently we've had players like Maxwell also opening up to this. So if you could put some light on the dire relevance of that mental health plays in the success of an individual, specifically an athlete.
Yeah, I think what happens is that initially when you play international cricket, it's a burst of energy. It's an unknown, and when you perform really well, on some individuals, I've spoken to some individuals, they perform well, but they feel really exhausted afterwards because it's taken a lot out of them. While others, they can cope with it. I was able to do that. I was able to cope with it, and then suddenly, it just don't know what happens. The whole pressure you can't take on board anymore, and it becomes very difficult. And I think that's why sports psychologist is very important. In cricket at the moment, because you can always speak to them about your performances. Sometimes if your performances are not great, how can you make them better? But also, you may perform really well, but you feel like you've got more to give, in your performances to the team, and how you can able to do that. So yeah, I think sports psychologists play a huge role in the well-being of the team, and I think the mental health of individual sports people.
Okay, I completely agree with you, and with that, I'll take you to the second segment of this show. And in this one, we'll mostly go over questions that people have sent in for you. But before that, I have to ask you one thing, that throughout your playing years, and maybe your years as a cricket fan, what is your favorite moment of international cricket?
I think one of my favorite moments of international cricket was I actually gosh, there's so many memories I've had. It's I remember Andrew Flintoff bowling out Jack Callis at Edgbaston.
Yeah.
And I remember I said to him, go on, bowl a Yorker now. No, bowl a bouncer. Bowl this. And he just went out there and just did it. and then he bowled his Yorker, which we talked about during the team meeting, and he bowled him out. It was a brilliant delivery. It was unbelievable. Then I remember just Jimmy Anderson all the time, just being up mid on, and all the time just made it so easy taking them wickets. I think his dismissal is he edges it second slip. That's Jimmy Anderson for you. What a brilliant bowler. Favorite memory is so difficult to envisage, because like I've been very lucky to have so many different memories. I'll probably say one of my most favorite one was probably at Lords. When I first played my first Test match at Lords.
Yeah.
Remember the crowd just erupting, and I didn't realize. Like, I remember Andrew Flintoff said to me, because Monty, back home, you're a cult figure. Monty Mania has started, and if you don't know that, everyone's just going crazy. And then I went to Lords, and when I heard the crowd erupt, I was like, wow, I've actually arrived at international cricket.
Yeah.
And Andrew Flintoff was right. The Monty Mania has started. Everyone knows who I am. And it's a funny thing, you're in India, you take Tendulkar's wicket, but you don't have any connection back home. You kind of just think you're in India. And it's a funny thing, your mind thinks that only people in India are watching it, no one else around the world, because you're in India. That's how the mind thinks. But then when you come back home, you think actually everyone was watching it, around the world. And it was just, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Like, when the crowd erupt, it was just unbelievable feeling, the best feeling I've ever had. And I really felt like I'm an international cricketer now.
Yeah, and that sounds like a feeling that would take some time to soak in as well, because of the excitement and the enthusiasm.
Well, yes, completely. You're in India. You hear the crowd, but it's such a loud noise. You feel like it's a really loud noise in the background, but you're playing cricket. So while at Lords, it really felt like the fans were cheering when they shouted my name and coming onto ball. Monty Panesar, the whole crowd just went erupt. Wow, that was an amazing feeling.
Okay, with that, I'll take you to some questions that people have sent in for you. So the first one is from Arijit. So he's asking you that you've had phases in your career that you've had to make a comeback into the team. And he's specifically asking you about the excitement ahead of the 10-11 Ashes, considering that you were finally successful in making a comeback to that team. How was that like?
Yeah, I think when you make a comeback, it takes a lot out of you. When you're first on the mountain and you're going up, every new, let's say, journey or level is an unknown. You haven't experienced it. So that's the excitement. You have the extra energy to think, I want to get to the next stage, because I haven't been there. But once you're, let's say, at the top of the mountain, and then you have a slight fall, you already know what it's like being at the top of the mountain. You've got to have like even more energy. You've got to have, like, I reckon, a lot more energy. You've got to be supremely fitter. You've got to be, everything has to be just much more extra. And it takes a lot out of you. It's not every time you make that next comeback takes it out of you. Then you got to do it again. So I would say once you've made your international debut, stay there as long as you can. You don't want to keep making comebacks, because it does drain you. But the greats, they find a way of staying at the top and maintaining their position. And that's why I have you'd admire them massively.
I just want to add a follow-up question to that out of curiosity. When do you face greater pressure, mentally and as somebody who you need to perform at your debut, or when you're making a comeback?
I think I found more pressure when I was actually making a comeback. It's interesting you asked me that. When I first got there, I wasn't as nervous, and it was, a lot of people said to me that you find some cricketers who, when they play international cricket, they freeze a little bit, they don't express themselves, while others, they just feel very much at home. That, like, yeah, this is definitely for this person, and that's how it felt for me. When I came back again, made another comeback, I felt like I had a point to prove, or maybe I had to take more wickets,
Yeah.
maybe I had to be more fitter, for example. Like I remember I was a lot fitter, so fitness wasn't on the same par when I first made when I on my first journey, but the second time around a lot more. Um, and my fielding was better, so certain skills do improve. But the biggest one is fitness. Fitness is the biggest one. You've got to be very fit for when I made my next comeback. Yeah.
Right, and we have one very interesting question from Digvijay. He says that, and I think this is something you might get a lot. He says that considering the fact that you have not officially announced your retirement yet from professional cricket, should us fans keep a glimmer of hope in our hearts that we will soon see Monty Panesar back in action?
Yeah, look, this year I couldn't get a chance to play, so I'll give it next year a go. I have announced my retirement, and I'll keep remaining fit. I'll keep, make sure my fitness is in a good place. So, yeah, look, for me, it's important that I maintain that and I work hard towards it, because next year I may get a chance. So, yeah, for cricket fans out there, you never know. There could be some hope for me playing professional cricket again.
That's going to be one of the biggest takeaways from here today. So with that, I'll take you to my final rapid fire segment. The rules remain the same. You just have to say the first thing that comes into your head. So my first one to you is that if you can recollect right now, what is the funniest moment related to cricket that you've been a part of, on or off the field?
Oh gosh, you got to make me think now. Funniest moment was I think we was landing. I was in the aeroplane and I had to go to the toilet because I had very bad diarrhea, and we had to land and I couldn't come out, and I couldn't get out of I couldn't come out for half an hour because I had such bad stomach pains. That was one of my really harsh memories. Yeah.
Right. And if you were to tell me your favorite memory on the cricket field, not just related to your career, say if you were a young fan, you were watching cricket on your television set, your favorite memory growing up, perhaps.
Yeah, my favorite memory, so many of them. One of my favorite memories was Graham Gooch, when he scored triple hundred against India. Yeah, that was brilliant. Robin Smith taking the fast bowlers. Mark Rampakash, when he was jumping in the air against the West Indies, at Lord's, took them great catches. Alex Stewart's double hundred against the West Indies. I remember 92 World Cup. When Wasim Akram's famous over when they got England out. India, Sharjah, when Tendulkar just, I think that's when one day cricket just changed, when he played that phenomenal innings, and it was like, wow, an innings like that can be played. No one could ever play an innings like that, and he was playing, he was playing innings that no one else was playing at that time. Yeah, that was brilliant, and it was against Australia, which were really strong at the time. And that was unbelievable.
Yeah, and my next question to you is about who is your favorite cricketer in the current English team?
Ben Stokes.
Ben Stokes, okay. And how would you rate the current English T20, ODI and Test squad, considering not just the recent summer, but the 2019 campaign as well?
Yeah, look, I think they're one of the best teams in the world, and during the IPL, I'm sure you see the English players do really well. Yesterday was a great game against Australia, but I think this England team is going to be it's a very strong team.
Right, and in the next segment, I'm going to say a certain statement, and you have to say the person who fits it the best. So, according to you, who is the greatest T20 batsman to have played the game?
Good question. MS Dhoni.
MS Dhoni, that's great. And the fiercest bowler in the international arena at this point in
time? Mitchell Starc.
Mitchell Starc, taking you to the third aspect of the game. Who is the greatest fielder at this point in time?
Ben Stokes.
Ben Stokes, right. And the best amongst the fabulous four, according to you? Virat Kohli, Joe Root, Stephen Smith, and Kane Williamson.
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli. And the next big name in international cricket, according to you, will be?
Oh, very good question. Ollie Pope.
Ollie Pope. Yeah, and I think he's somebody that everybody has been looking forward to after this test summer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
they're talking about.
a few this or that questions. So if the English team could play only one pacer in their limited over setup, you would want it to be Jofra Archer or Mark Wood?
Mark Wood.
Mark Wood. And your comments on the current ongoing debate about splitting apart James Anderson and Stuart Broad?
Well, I think, look, there'll be test matches where they both, at the start of a series, you've got to play both. And then throughout the series, you just split them up.
Right. And who do you think is the smartest cricketing brain?
MS Dhoni.
MS Dhoni. He's featuring for the third
And Owen Morgan.
And Morgan. That's great. And if you were to, you just named two captains, so I'll take you to this question. If you were to select the captain of your dream team, who would it be?
MS Dhoni.
MS Dhoni. And if you had to pick one batsman to bat for your life?
Alastair Cook.
Alastair Cook. Perfect. So if not cricket, we would have seen Monty Panesar in?
Bollywood.
Bollywood. Okay. Your favorite movie?
Move over, Salman Khan. Monty Panesar is on his way.
That's great. And my next question to you is, after you took up cricket, who has been the biggest influence on your cricketing career?
I think Northants probably been very big on me, my county Northants. Yeah. You know, from a younger day. And David Capel, who was a great coach of mine, I was at the funeral yesterday, and Nick Cook, you know, he was another, you know, really good coach for me, second team coach. Paul Taylor, who actually changed me from a seam bowler to a left-arm spinner, was at Northants as well. Yes, Northants has been massive for me as a county.
Okay. And you in your career have had multiple nicknames. So you've been called Python at one time, you've been called Parmesan Tony, you've been called the Beard to be feared, and a lot of other names also. So out of all of your nicknames, which one is your personal favorite?
They've called me Sid the Sikh, Python, Full Monty, Turbinator. Probably Full Monty.
Full Monty, that's great. And I'll take you to a question that I don't think you would get a lot. If you had to pick your favorite batting performance, the 26 against Sri Lanka in 2006 or the 69 ball partnership that you had with Jimmy Anderson to save the test match?
Yeah, Jimmy Anderson, 69.
The partnership, that's great. And what was a bigger personal milestone for you? And what gave you better satisfaction, playing the World Cup or playing the Ashes?
Playing the Ashes.
Playing the Ashes, right. And one more very interesting question I have for you. If you had to pick the fabulous four of the current spin bowlers, who would you pick?
Adil Rashid, Nathan Lyon, Virinder Ashwin, and Virinder Jadeja.
That's great. And in the next segment, I will be saying a certain name or a certain thing, and you have to say the first thing that comes into your mind. So I'll start with Jofra Archer.
Fast.
And the 2019 World Cup?
England.
Graeme Swan?
Funny.
Okay. And the English Cricket Board?
The best.
The best. Okay. And Jimmy Anderson?
The greatest.
The greatest. And I have one final one for you in this, the Indian Premier League.
The best league in the world.
The best league. And with that, I will take you to your prediction in the upcoming IPL. I'm sure you've seen all of the squads by now. So which team do you think is at the strongest point at this time?
Rajasthan Royals.
Rajasthan Royals. And any player that you think we should be looking out for?
Yeah, Joss Butler and Ben Stokes.
Joss Butler and Ben Stokes. Perfect. So that makes Rajasthan a champion team already. Right. So one last question to you. If after your entire journey, after all of these years, you could put what cricket is for you in one word, what would you say?
Just one word. Love.
Love. Perfect. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much, Monty, for having joined in. It's been exceptional getting to know these answers from you. And
thank you.
There are so many people who've been waiting for this episode. So I'm sure they would be loving it. And anything that you want to convey to the fans, your fans watching this show, or anybody who's the audience of the show?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, the IPL is starting. Let's all, look forward to watching it. And we are very excited in the UK.
That's great. So thank you so much for having joined in. It has been great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.